Last time we had discussed Coulomb's law both in scalar and vector forms. You take down some questions pertaining to that, which I am dictating you. Question number 1. State and explain Coulomb's law. Into bracket, only scalar form. 2 marks. Question number 2. State Coulomb's law and explain it in vector form both for like and unlike charges respectively with the necessary diagrams and equations. 3 marks. Question number 3. Write the limitations of Coulomb's law. Along with this question, state Coulomb's law can also be asked. 2 marks. All those answers have been discussed ahead in the previous lecture. Now few objectives. You note down. 1 mark each. Number 1. What is the SI unit of Coulomb's constant? Question mark. 2. The dimensional formula of Coulomb's constant, that is small k, is dash. 4 options would be given. Here I am not giving. Number 3. What is the SI unit of electric permittivity? Question mark. 4th and the last one, the dimensional formula of permittivity of free space or vacuum, any one, or inverse of Coulomb's constant, that is epsilon 0, is dash. Here also 4 options would be given. Okay, questions over. Now we shall start with the new topic, that is forces between multiple charges, that is application of Coulomb's law, another title for it. We have already seen that Coulomb's law can be applied only for 2 stationary point charges. Again I repeat, for 2 stationary point charges. But for a system of charges, simply Coulomb's law is not adequate. Adequate means sufficient. And we have also to apply superposition principle. Superposition principle, which we are to study today. In the first paragraph given, consider a system of n stationary point charges. You add the word point charges. Stationary point charges Q1, Q2, Q3 and up to Qn in vacuum. Now the force on Q1, we want to calculate the force on Q1 due to Q2, Q3 and so on up to Qn. We know that forces of mechanical origin add according to the parallelogram law of addition. Parallelogram law. The same is true for forces of electrostatic origin. Now principle of superposition. You note down its precise statement, which I dictate you into inverted commas. When more than one Coulombian forces are acting on a charge, comma, the resultant, underline the word resultant, Coulombian force acting on it is equal to the vector sum, underline the word vector sum, of the individual forces due to each charge, full point, inverted commas over. Again I repeat the statement which you note down in your notebook. Important, inverted commas, when more than one Coulombian forces are acting on a charge, comma, the resultant Coulombian force acting on it is equal to the vector sum of the individual forces due to each charge, full point, inverted commas over. Now in the second paragraph given here, the individual forces are unaffected, individual forces unaffected, which are underlined, due to the presence of other charges. Next point, we try to understand this concept by considering two different examples as shown in the figures A and B given besides respectively. First example, we consider a system of three charges Q1, Q2 and Q3 as shown in figure A given besides. The force on charge Q1, say, due to other two charges Q2 and Q3 can be obtained by vector addition of the forces, vector addition of the forces due to each one of these charges. Now if the force on Q1 due to Q2 is denoted by vector F12, then vector F12 equal to K Q1 Q2 upon R12 square into R12 hat, where R12 hat is the unit vector. This equation we can write from Coulombian force standard expression in scalar form. Similarly, force vector F13 equal to K Q1 Q3 upon R13 square into R13 hat. Both the equations are tick marked. Now from those two equations we can calculate the total force on charge Q1. The total force just a minute. Here it's written in equation 1.4. The total force F1 vector on Q1 due to charges q2 and q3 is given by vector f1 equal to vector f12 plus vector f13 equal to k q1 q2 upon r12 square into r12 hat. For k you can substitute 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 plus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 q1 q3 upon r13 square into r13 hat. For 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 you can write k, that will be easy to remember. Similarly, for a system of 5 charges, which is shown in figure B. Figure B, 5 charges written besides the figure. Figure 1.8b. Multiple charges means here 5 charges are shown in the figure. Here also total force on first charge q1 is shown. But suppose in this figure, if we want to calculate the total force on third charge, that is q3, due to other charges, that is q1, q2, q4 and q5, then vector f3 you can note down besides the figure. On third charge, total force on q3 equal to vector f3 equal to vector f31 plus vector f32 plus vector f34 plus vector f35. That is, if 5 charges are present, then 4 forces have to be added. That is one less than the total number of charges present in the system. Say for example, in the first figure A, there are 3 charges. So total force will be equal to vector sum of 2 charges, that is 2 forces. Now we have already found out the total force F1 on Q1 in the first figure, that is figure A, and equation 1.4. From this equation we can say that the principle of superposition says that in a system of charges q1, q2 and so on up to qn, the total force F1, that is vector F1 on the charge q1 is given by vector F1 equal to vector F12 plus vector F13 plus vector F1n equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, that is nothing but k, into square bracket. So k is taken common, q1 q2 upon r12 square into r12 hat plus q1 q3 upon r13 square into r13 hat plus so on, plus don't forget the plus in the end, plus q1 qn upon r1n square into r1 n hat. This term is important, which I have tick marked, which is equal to, in sigma form, Q1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, that is k into Q1 is taken common, sigma Qi upon R1I square into R1I hat, where I equal to 2 to n. That is equation 1.5 in the most simplified form. Now suppose here in the entire discussion, in both the examples, we have calculated the total force F1 vector on charge Q1. Instead of that, suppose we want to calculate the total force vector F2 on Q2 charge. Then equation 1.5, that is the most simplified form, can now be written as vector F2. Instead of 1, it will be written as vector F2 equal to Q2 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 sigma Qi upon R2I square into R2I hat, where I ranges from 1 to n, where I equal to 1 to n. Again below that you write, but I not equal to 2. But I not equal to 2. Hence, the vector sum is obtained by the parallelogram law, and electrostatics is a consequence of Coulomb's law and the superposition principle. Okay, that's all, and this ends the topic.